Welcome to Copy Chief Radio. Today's show is a new breed episode where today's most innovative marketing and copywriting stars share their most effective methods for optimizing results in the fast-changing world of direct response marketing. To check out all the Copy Chief Radio episode types, go to copychief.com/CCR. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for turning over your attention to this podcast. It means the world to me. As always, I hope to do something valuable with it. And I know today we will accomplish that because I have the great honor of speaking with and presenting to you, if you don't already know her, AJ Harper, whose brand new book, Write a Must Read, is incredible. This is a long time coming, this book, because AJ has been working at a very high level, first as a ghostwriter, and then as a collaborative writer. Primarily, I think her only real client now is the only person who's allowed to have AJ's brilliance is Mike Michalowicz. I think you read every book with Mike.
Yep. 9
of them now in the big, amazing bestsellers, Profit First, Clockwork, Pumpkin Plant. On a personal level, books that changed my life. I've talked endlessly about particularly how Profit First got me to stop what I was doing, pay attention, take action. I've now implemented it. It's a major part of how I handle my finances. And so personal note of thanks for that, AJ. But if you'll allow me, I'm just going to rattle on here before I even let you talk. But we're going to have I want to hear all about the book, and I want to talk more about your process for working with writers. But if you don't mind, I'll start by reading something that really stood out to me in the book. Because one thing you do that I love so much in this book, and this is so you from the little bit I've gotten to know you, very clear about who it's for, who it's not for. You never want anybody to misunderstand. I mean, you went out of your way to put a whole chapter in the book saying, hey, fiction authors, not for you. Sorry. Sorry if you bought it. You might get something out of it, but didn't write it for you. And it's very clear that this is not for people who are looking for the quote unquote better business card of having a book. They want to write a significant book. And you say then in the introduction, a book is forever. Once it's out there, you can't get it back. Every book printed has a life of its own. It's on bookshelves, in boxes, on garage sale tables. It's given as a gift. Your kids will read it. Your grandkids will find it and read it. Strangers will read it. Future clients or employers will read it. Writing a book is a major endeavor. So why shortchange yourself and your readers by trying to rush through it? Why not make it great? Why not write a book that really makes a difference? That is awesome.
Thank you for reading that. That sums up my mission in life.
It's fantastic. Let's just talk a little bit about, because you were a ghostwriter, like truly behind the scenes for 10 years, worked with over 500 authors. Wow. And then I think got really frustrated at this idea of then all of a sudden this trend of crapping out books just so the cover would be out there and you could call yourself an author.
I mean, I was frustrated during those 10 years. I just got burned out. I mean, I started as a freelancer. This was my mission. It was 2005. My son was an infant and I didn't want to have a straight job. I said, I just want to write for a living. I'll write anything as long as it's not illegal or, degrading to women or something like that. And I did. I was on Elance when it was Elance, and now it's Upwork, and got my start there. And so naturally, the books I started writing, when I started writing books, a lot of them were like that. A lot of them were people saying, I just want this thing. I want it fast. And so I did work on a lot of jobs like that to get experience. I didn't know what I was doing, but also because I didn't really honestly know better. An opinion I developed pretty quickly within a few years of understanding the difference between writing a book that makes a difference and writing a book that's to just get one done.
Yeah. Right. How long was it before you could start to choose and have that as a criteria that you didn't want to work with?
Pretty soon, because I got lucky. On Elance, I got a job to write a book, to actually write about this in the book. I had written a lot of books, but they were, short, 20,000 words, 15,000 words, 30,000 words on subjects like Google AdWords, or I did a ton of travel books, even to places I haven't been to, as I'm sure a lot of freelancers know how to do. And then this was the first prescriptive nonfiction book, meaning a book that's designed to help some aspect of someone's life or business get better. And that person was happy with it. And so they just hooked me up. So it wasn't long before I wasn't on Elance anymore and I was just getting phone calls. And then I was able to say, is this right for me or is this not right for me?
Because you were in demand. Yeah. With the right people.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
It was a secret demand.
Right. That's the best kind, right?
Yeah.
You know, when people know probably what it costs, how you work, why they should want to talk to you. That's great when you reach a point in your career where those are the phone calls you're getting. And it's on reputation, right? Because I know you do amazing work. It's very evident in the books you've written and, collaborated with. You've been very open. I love that Mike and you have the relationship that he has no qualms about. He's the first to mention you. You get to teach through the stuff you've done together. Is that how the workshops came about? Reading in the book also that you didn't think you could teach what you do. And he kind of called you out on that.
He did. I got burned out. 10 years of ghostwriting in an industry that has some folks who may or may not be all they're cracked up to be, being a cog in that machine. It just wasn't right for me. Lost my voice, all the things, right? Didn't know what you teach. So we had this conversation one time when we were at Mike's office where I met you in Boonton. Right. And I wish I had learned everything you have to teach because I couldn't manage the deadlines. I was always late. I couldn't say no. So I had to quit. But when I quit, I had no interest aside from continuing to work with Mike because that's a great relationship that I love. I just thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he said, well, what about, working with other authors? I said, I can't teach what I know. This is this is intrinsic. I'm intuitive. It's just me. And he just basically said, bullshit. Yeah. Then he challenged me and I figured it out. I did work for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, trying to break down because he said, you do have a system. You just don't know you have it. And so I had to figure out what that was. And I did that through individual client work. And then I was able to teach it.
And did it light you up when you started to see that it's a system?
Yeah. What really clicked for me was when my students were getting it. That really, and then when my students started getting critical trade reviews where they absolutely nailed it exactly how they wanted to and feedback from their readers, then it works. Okay, this is fantastic. And that's actually why I ended up writing the book because I wanted more people to have access to frameworks that I knew for sure worked that couldn't afford to take my class.
Yeah, it's awesome. By the way, website, it'll be in the show notes, of course, but two places you want to go. One is ajharper.com. The letters AJ, HARPER.com. Also for the book with a bunch of free goodies and bonus stuff is writeamustread.com. Look, I get it. I know there's so many communities. I'm doing air quotes, communities for entrepreneurs out there, all filled with their own version of overnight experts chirping at you from behind the screen. You got your Facebook groups, your clubhouse rooms, just experts galore. How often do you feel like you're being pinballed around from thing to thing and picking up a little bit, a little piece there? How much of that is actually making it into your brain and your fingers and your business and affecting your money? How many of these people are actually out there in the field getting their hands dirty and testing to find out what actually works and what flops? Well, in the Copy Chief community, a real community, you get shoulder to shoulder with the most active, successful marketers working in the trenches today, all while learning from industry legends who rarely teach anywhere else, if ever. Copy Chief is an amazing community, super newbie friendly. Also, you'll find, elite level marketers and copywriters in there. They're all working to become the best at their craft, get paid top dollar for their skills, stay ahead of the competition by keeping their finger on the pulse of what's working now. That's the X factor when you're backed up by a community and you can get any question you have answered by people who actually do this stuff and can tell you from real world experience what to do for your project, for your offer, for your funnel, for your clients, man, you're unstoppable when you've got that kind of confidence. Go check us out at copychief.com/join. If you've never been a member, you're going to see what you've been missing and you're going to say, where has this been all my life? And if you've been a member in the past, I would invite you to come and check out all the new stuff. We've completely updated all the tech. So we're on brand new platforms. Everything is slick and smooth and easy to access. And it's never been better. Copychief.com/join. I'll look for you inside. I know you run workshops, AJ, and again, like, it's great. People always ask this sort of question. If you get paid so well, why do you bother teaching? And it's kind of a dumb question if you actually teach it, because, but then I guess I kind of get why people have that question, but I'll let you answer, but I know the answer because I share it.
Why do you teach?
I teach because I get excited about somebody using the knowledge. And why would we only work with people we can work one-on-one with? It just feels, if we can, why wouldn't we, if we're compelled to? It's just that simple.
I agree with you. I also love a workshop. I love groups of people. I like creating a community around a common goal.
Yeah.
That's really exciting to me. And I love turning people on to authorship in a bigger way. I'm on a mission. I want better books in the world. So I need to multiply my efforts. Besides just between us and everybody listening, I'm not a fan of client work. I like being able to say it once and hear a lot of people hear it, which isn't to say I don't do one-on-ones. I do them, but they're just for my students,
right,
who already have knowledge.
That's great. Talk to me about the workshop a little bit. You had a long one. I think you stopped doing these. They were very intensive and you were basically bringing people through the whole process of writing the book. Is that still how you write them? Or do
Yeah, they're intense for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I only do it twice a year for 15 students at a time. So it's
that's
not
still the model. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And I like my community. It gives me a chance to really devote myself to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a live on Zoom type of class with a lot of personal hand holding. And then they become part of my author community, which is my favorite thing. All of these authors who are all committed to writing something excellent, and they lift each other up in the process. But I decided not to scale it because I just like it,
Yeah.
It's fun.
Works for you. You get paid what you need to get paid and you change lives, literally. And then how much does that trickle down? All the readers of those books, like you said, right? I mean,
so good.
Wow. It's immeasurable, literally immeasurable.
I was just on a student's podcast this week, and she confided and she listed all of these readers reaching out to her about how it's changed their lives, and they bought it for all their children. And she had written a book for minority business owners, and now her book is in universities, and people are changing their whole business and outlook on life because of this one book she wrote. So that's, why wouldn't you want to keep teaching people then?
Right. Yeah. No, it's exciting. I had a moment recently, you might find this amusing. I don't think I was I'm not a natural entrepreneur, but whatever traits of an entrepreneur I had that are troublesome, I was able to develop in a very real way. And that means running around from thing to thing instead of really following sort of the joy. And one of the great joys of my life was, and I love what you said in the book, is like, don't be how horrible is it to have a book out there where you tell people, oh, don't read that.
Yeah.
I'm slightly guilty of that because it was anyway, but what's in the book, I'm very proud of. And I still teach. I just taught it to a super high level mastermind the other day. Like it's storytelling, essentially, is all it is. Right. And so I recently had this moment where I'm like, what is like Donald Miller doing that I couldn't do? Right. And so I bought all his books and I'm kind of looking at his model. And I'm like, it's not very different, except, but I would never say, oh, I could. He chose to do it. He chose to stay focused. He chose to go deep on the thing he teaches, because it can be simple, but it's how you teach it and how you make it accessible to people that really makes the impact.
Yeah. Any book is I love any book. Let's be real. I mean, yes, I would love people to stop writing better business cards. I want it to be whispered, like, how we whisper things that we're not supposed to talk about. I want it to be like that, where now it's dirty or something. Shouldn't say that anymore.
Yeah.
That's my goal. But that said, I walk into a bookstore, that's kind of my church. And so even if I don't agree with the book or I don't think it's that great, I still respect that it exists and everything that went into it. So you did that, and you're going to write another one.
Yes, I am.
You are.
But that's the other thing that I've adopted so well is this. I don't know if it's procrastinating, but overthinking the idea of just writing the book. It feels, I know you probably coach people through this all the time. It feels, it's at one hand so exciting and invigorating, and then it feels so daunting. Mm-hmm. I think if I had to identify the fear, it's that I'll somehow get it. I'll get it wrong, but I know I won't. If I go through a process like yours, there's no way I can get it wrong. So what is it? I just not ready to do the work, or, what does it come down to?
You're just listening to a voice that's telling you things that sound somewhat reasonable. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've gone that far in my book yet, but I'm not to make this all about my book, but it's helpful for, I think, any writer who's listening to this. We all talk about the inner critic, but I call my inner critic a troll. And it's not like troll, like an internet troll. It's like the troll dolls from the 80s. Mm-hmm. I actually have them, and they personify. But I talk about what I call reasonable shoulder trolls. So it's not the troll that says, you suck, you're terrible, you're worthless. It's the one that sits there and whispers very quietly and nicely in your ear, you haven't have any billable hours, or you haven't exercised today. Or you really should think through that, because you're really going to give it your best. Maybe you should just hang on a minute till you finish this other project. Then you can really focus.
Right.
It just makes good sense, that troll. Mm-hmm. And it has grains of truth, but it's still trying to sabotage you.
Right.
And so I think that's what you have going on. You probably have a couple on your shoulder telling you in a really pleasant voice, reasonable things.
Yeah, I love that. That is so true. It's exactly what it is. How do you get past it to be ready? You just have to fight past it, muscle past it.
Yes. I mean, I'm, as I've told you before, and if you've been reading the book, I'm a massive fan of Stephen Pressfield. And it was his book, The War of Art, that taught me that what I thought was writer's block was really a law of the universe called resistance, and that I couldn't cure it, that it was always going to be back like gravity. And once I knew that, I stopped trying. And I thought, okay, hi, troll. Thank you for showing up today. I don't really need your services. I'll see you tomorrow, because it's coming back. So part of the angst around writer's block is, why can't I fix this? And you can't. You just have to do it anyway. And the way you do it anyway, I think, is having clarity. So you've got to first zero in on that reader who you're trying to serve, get that transformational message crystal, really work on it, work on your promise. And once you have those pieces, then you have touchstones and you can keep moving. And on bad days, you can just say, I got to get this. I've got to help these people. Okay, let me keep going. And there's other strategies too that I'm sure you probably use yourself, about just focusing on word counts and so forth instead of thinking about quality. You're obviously familiar with what drafting is like. So you don't have an unreasonable expectation of a first draft. So it's really about zeroing in on reader first, and then letting that carry you forward and be your touchstone.
I love that. Thank you. I thought I just needed to get the right cabin and a good pipe. I thought
cabins are great.
That's what I was missing. And by the way, I want to point out, this is all about your book, because the book is awesome. Again, it's Write a Must Read. And it is like a workshop, your workshop. There are pages in here, work pages, things to go through and think through about your book as you go. And so this is sort of like a much more accessible version of your expensive workshop, but kind of bringing people through the same motions. Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. The difference is they're not getting individual feedback from me, and they're not writing in community. And in workshop, we do live edit together. It's a really cool thing. But aside from that, it's the whole workshop.
Wow. Awesome. Again, it proves that theory. I was like, you don't have to keep it behind a gate. Put it out there to the world, and it'll only make the people who need your help more aware of that.
Well, like I said, I'm on that mission. So how is it going to help me if I help 30 authors a year who have means to pay for my class?
Right.
That's not helping. I offer scholarships and things to people, marginalized authors and so forth, but I'm really not going to complete my mission if I don't make it available so that people can, even if they don't have a dime, they can still go check it out from the library.
Right.
And that's really important to my values.
It's beautiful. Well, thank you, AJ, for spending time with me. And you've been very generous as a friend. The first time we met, like you said, was at Mike's office, Mike Michalowicz, and you are a big star in his workshop. I learned a lot, and I remain inspired to write my book. And I will. I'm vowing to you today.
You're vowing to me? I'm going to bug you now.
All right. All right. Stay on me.
I will.
I'm ready.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. It's AJ Harper, everybody. WriteAMustRead.com or AJHarper.com. Be on her list and get inspired, and definitely go get the book. We'll talk soon. Hey, don't forget your goodies. Head over to copychief.com/copychiefradio to get some great free stuff to help you put the things you hear on the show into action for your business. Copychief.com/CCR.